a chance to win a copy of NHL 18, click the link down below in the description. Good luck, everyone. Hey guys, Thrash here. Before we get into this video, let me know down below what you guys have to say about the NHL 18 ratings. We have a new king at the top of the podium, so make sure you stick around to find out who it is. But guys, let's talk about this down below. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. I'll be replying to every comment down below. So leave your comment, let me know what you think. Do you think they messed up on anything? Because I feel like there's a couple mistakes. Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? Thrash back here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going through the top 50 players in NHL 18. We're a couple weeks away. They've been revealing the lists one by one here. We've got the top 10 defensemen and all that stuff. Now I went ahead, I put my own list together of the lowest rated to the highest rated in the top 50. We're going to go ahead and go through them together. And there's some surprises on here. There's some people who I expected to be in here that aren't. And they might actually crack the top 50 overall, but these are the only 50 that have been released. These are the top 50 by position. So let's go ahead and get into the first four here. Alright guys, well, first up, we've got Gabriel Landeskog at 85, and Eric Staal at 85, Philip Forsberg at 86, and Phil Kessel at 86. No real surprises here, I'm not too concerned about it. A little surprised to see Landeskog at 85B in the top 50, however, this is done by position, of course. So there might be a couple more, right wingers higher than 85, as you see Staal, Landeskog, and Forsberg are all left wingers. So with Kessel being the lowest rated 86 on the list, there could be some other 86s as well in the right wing position. Alright guys, moving on, we've got Patrick Laine at 86, a little bit of surprise. I was expecting maybe a little bit more, but I'm not too concerned with his overall. I feel like he's going to produce anyways. With Artemi Panarin at 86, again, a little bit of surprise. However, first year without Patrick Kane, he's playing on a new team. We'll see how he does. Wayne Train at an 86 now. I thought he would be higher. I'm thinking 87, 88. However, EA seems to have shafted him just a little bit. And then Corey Crawford, your lowest rated goalie in the top 10 at 87 overall. Now, one player we don't see here is Austin Matthews, and that's going to be because, even though he might be a top 50 player, we only did it by position. So your top 10 centers and blah, blah, blah. Now, he is listed as a center, and your lowest rated center is 89 overall, whereas Matthews is probably going to get an 87 or 88, which is why you don't see him on this list. Number 2 here, we got Taylor Hall at 87, Max Pacioretty at 87, Johnny Hockey at 87, and Brad Marchand all at 87. The one big surprise I do see here is Brad Marchand. I feel like he had a really outstanding year. He had a great job. I was expecting a little bit higher. He's in the right company, though. All these players here are great. They can all shoot the puck. I'd say out of these four, if I want to see one jump higher, I mean, Taylor Hall is more of a personal favorite of mine, but Johnny Hockey, I don't know. I think Johnny Hockey should be an 88, as well as Brad Marchand, but this is all up to EA. And let's move on to the next one with David Pastrnak, Jakub Voracek, Blake Wheeler, and Cam Talbot, all going to be sitting at 87 as well. And now we do have a surprise. David Pastrnak is tied with Max Pacioretty, Brad Marchand, Johnny Hockey, Taylor Hall, and Blake Wheeler. I am a little bit surprised by that. I feel like, don't get me wrong, he's obviously great. I feel like he's a little bit young, though. I thought he was going to be maybe an 86, but they decided to jump him up to an 87, so great for him. Cam Talbot in the top 10 goalies here, getting it done, good for him. And you guys all know I'm a big fan of Jakub Voracek, I've always been a fan of his card, and hopefully next year it is great. Now, we don't have any confirmation yet on if these ratings are going to be the same in HUT. However, I would love to see it done like this. I think that it makes all your really big name players and all your high overalls worth even more money, and I'm all for that. Moving on, we got some bigger names now. We're going to start it off with Henrik Lundqvist at 88, cracking the top 10, of course, followed by Chris Letang. Chris Letang, one of the better defensemen in the league, at an 88 overall. Also got Devin Dubnyk cracking the top 10 goalies at 88, and then Roman Josi, who is no surprise in the top 10 defensemen. That's not a surprise by any means, also at 88 overall. We got Matt Murray, who I thought was a little young, and they wouldn't give this high of an overall rating. They did indeed give him an 88. I was expecting him to get about an 87, so good for him. We also got Alex Pietrangelo, Joe Pavelski, and of course, Tuukka Rask at 88 overall as well. If there's one surprise of the four I have here, besides Matt Murray, would be Joe Pavelski. I feel like Pavelski's been one of the best players in the world the last few years. I feel like he should have a higher rating, maybe an 89, even a 90 for Pavelski. Decided to give him an 88, so we'll go ahead and move on from here. Moving on, we got Patrice Bergeron, Nicholas Backstrom, Sergei Bobrovsky, and Ryan Getzlaf, all at 89 overall. Now, of course, Patrice Bergeron, 95 faceoffs. He's going to be out there killing it like he does in real life and in game. One of the most favorite cards to use every year for every player because he kills it in the faceoffs. Now, one surprise, Sergei Bobrovsky. Now, I'm not surprised that he's here. He's a top goalie. He's a number 3 goalie in the entire game. However, a number 3 goalie in the entire game is rated 89 overall, and that's what EA is doing. They're dropping the overalls, leaving room for improvement, and making your elite players stand out, and I really enjoy that. I think it's going to be great. I think they're going to do a really good job with the ratings this year, and hopefully HUT cards and HUT ratings carry over. Alright guys, 4 more 89s here, and Kucherov, Sagan, Schneider, and Suter. The one surprise here would be Corey Schneider, tied with Bobrovsky for number 3 goalie in the entire game. Don't get me wrong, Corey Schneider is a great goalie, but I don't feel like him and Bobrovsky are on the same level. Schneider maybe an 88, maybe even an 87, whereas I would put Bobrovsky, if he's going to be an 89, I would even bump him up to a 90. But that's just me, that's just what I'm saying. I know Legacy agrees with me on that one at least. But Corey Schneider, the one surprise out of this list here. Moving on, we got Jonathan Toews at 89 and Shea Weber at 89, and now we're bumping up into the 90s. But Jamie Benn and Brent Burns. Now, you guys all know I'm a huge Jamie Benn fan, and I feel he got a little bit shafted here. I feel like he should have been the #1 left winger. That's just me talking. I feel like he's a better overall player than the #1 left winger in the game. We'll move on and talk about him in a minute. But I'm also a big fan of Brent Burns, and seeing him so high is definitely where he deserves to be. However, you see Shea Weber here, 89 overall. Do you know who's not on this list? PK Subban. He did not crack the top 10 for NHL 18. Now, he could still be maybe an 87 overall, but him not being in the top 10 is just weird. I was expecting to see him, and I don't. Jonathan Toews at 89 overall, not really a surprise. He has great face-offs. He's going to be a great player again this year. Let's move on. And we got 4 more 90s, and here we go. We're getting into the real big guns here. And talking about big guns, we got Victor Hedman, 90 overall, followed by Duncan Keith, Braden Holtby, and last year's cover boy, Vladimir Tarasenko, 90 overall. I mean, he's a great player. He's going to be a high overall card. He's going to be really expensive this year, so be on the lookout for him. But of course, Braden Holtby, your #2 goalie in NHL 18. No surprise there. And we all know who #1 is going to be. Duncan Keith, one of my favorite defensemen in the entire league. You know I love him. He gets a really good overall at 90. And now we're moving on to some even bigger players. We got John Tavares at 90, followed by Drew Doughty at 91, Erik Karlsson at 91, and Patrick Kane at 91. There's no surprise that Erik Karlsson and Drew Doughty are at the top of this list. For defensemen, I would prefer Brent Burns on my team over Erik Karlsson or Drew Doughty, no doubt. I like the size of Brent Burns, I like the physicality of Brent Burns, however, there's no denying that Drew Doughty and Erik Karlsson are 2 of the best defensemen in the entire world. And of course, that's being shown here as they are the 2 top-rated defensemen in NHL 18. Patrick Kane with a nice 91 rating. Those hands are going to be absolutely filthy. And John Tavares is doing pretty good up there at 90. Moving on, we got Steven Stamkos at 91, and now we're getting into the real elite cards. You have Evgeny Malkin at 92, Carey Price of 92, and Alex Ovechkin, 92. Now, honestly, there's no surprise that Carey Price is at the very top of the list for goalies. That's not a surprise. I would prefer to have Bobrovsky there, as he did win the Vezina, or Braden Holtby, as he's had better stats than Price over the last few years, but there's no denying Carey Price could be the best goalie in the entire world. However, a surprise, Alex Ovechkin is your #1 left winger in NHL 18. Now, I say a surprise, but it's really not a surprise. Are we expecting anyone else? Now, I'm thinking maybe Jamie Benn can do it this year. I feel like he's a better all-around player than Alex Ovechkin. Yeah, I think he put up the same amount of points, or at least the same amount of goals as Ovi last year. However, they gave it to Ovechkin and gave him a 2-point advantage of Jamie Benn. A little surprising to me. Evgeny Malkin, year in, year out, produces 92 overall as a center. No complaints there. Now for your top 2 guys, and #2 is going to be Sidney Crosby. The king has been dethroned, well, sort of. You see, #1 is Connor McDavid, but they are rated the same at 93 overall. And, I mean, I'm all for it. I love McDavid. I think he's a great player. I feel like he's a little young to be your #1 player in a game. However, EA did list him as #1, so that's how we're doing it. Connor McDavid, your new #1 player in NHL 18. Taking a look at their stats, I mean, they're very similar in stats here. Very similar in stats, but the one thing I will say, it looks like Crosby has him beat in terms of defensive ability. That's the one thing I will say. Defensive ability seems to belong to Crosby, however, speed belongs to McDavid. Everything else is very similar, very close, and it's going to be very interesting to see who does better this year. As McDavid did get more points than Crosby, but Crosby got more goals. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens this year. Anyways, guys, that's your top 50 in NHL 18. When they release some more overalls and some more ratings, I'll be sure to get them out to you guys. So leave a like on this video if you enjoyed. I enjoyed doing it. I'm excited for NHL 18. I know you guys are excited for NHL 18. So let's just hurry up and get it here. I cannot wait. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.